This is the J. Steer Christopher map that the Gleason map was based from. And if you look up here, scientifically and practically and intelligibly correct without any antipodes. All oceans and seas perfectly level. The Pacific with the Atlantic, the Southern Ocean with the Indian Ocean, and China Sea. All uniformly and perfectly level without any rotundity.
Good morning, aloha from Florida. This is a geocentric system. Geo is Earth, centric is center. And for the globe zealots who want to say, oh, well, geocentric, that still means the Earth is a ball. No, it doesn't. Just like level doesn't mean curved. Geocentric is this. Think of the Earth as a dartboard and lay it flat. And the center is the bullseye. That's like the North Pole on the ground. Directly over that in the sky over here, I can see every night of the year, is the North Star, Polaris, and everything in the system. The entire sky moves around that in perfect repeating patterns. Geo, Earth, centric, center. The center of a flat and stationary Earth is what we live in or live on. This is a geocentric system. It does not mean a ball. So when the globe zealots try to say that it does, just laugh at them. Just don't pay them much attention. I block them every day, many of them every day, because they're a waste of time. So just keep digging, keep seeking and finding the truth. The Earth is an intelligently designed, enclosed, electrical, topographical, stationary plane. For more on this geocentric system, I recommend our documentary called The Mechanical Realm about the Antikythera mechanism, which is a geocentric, flat and stationary device. It is allegedly the world's first computer. It's an amazing device, but it shows us clearly that the Earth is flat and stationary and everything moves in perfect repeating patterns in the sky over us. Have a great day. God bless.
Crazy? You know what's crazy? It's 2024 and the Garmin maps of the sailors don't get up to the 90th latitude. It gets up to the 80th latitude. This is the north 80th latitude. So this is where the Garmin maps doesn't go any further. Who said that there's no mountains in the north? So I'm gonna hit play.
Plug Navionics on iPhone doesn't let you plug any.
So what he's reading right there is 73 degrees and 33 north. That's almost the 80th. And when he reaches the 80th, is about the time step around here, like 10 minutes. That's when he's at the maximum for the maps. It doesn't go any further. But it's 2024, guys. How come we don't have the North Pole mapped on the Garmin maps? No, it's 99. Sorry, it was 79.33. Hey, where is that guy saying that there's no mountains in the north? What happened to you? What else do you have? A boat and a map. Digital. Do you have anything else? That's weird. That's just ice. Hey, chat. Can we agree that this is not just ice?
I was watching a documentary on space and how our solar system was formed, and there's one thing I noticed about every piece of imagery that was being shown to me about our solar system. Now, I'm not going to say what that one thing is, that one similarity between all of these videos is, but I want to just hint it at you that this is a documentary, and it's supposed to be documenting what's actually happening in our natural world right in front of us. Now, isn't it just a little bit odd how all of these videos seem to be almost misrepresenting reality in a way? Because if I took my camera and I tried to record any of these said events, would I be able to? That's really odd how this one striking similarity between all of these videos seems to almost make them seem invalid. But of course I watched the documentary on how Mercury was striking into asteroids and it got too close to the sun so it's uninhabitable and all this stuff. And how Jupiter is this massive gas giant and asteroids just crash into it all the time. Yeah.
World is definitely not ready to hear this. But there is no real picture of the Earth.
What do you mean?
Every picture that's been released that's on Google and or released from NASA is a 3D render. There's only 2 pictures the Earth claims to have in its vault. Let me show you them right now.
You're telling me that my iPhone 3G wallpaper isn't real?
That's the blue marble. The blue marble, as known from popular media and your iPhone 3, this claims to be an actual photo of the Earth from space.
It's claiming that?
You want me to show you the other one? The other one's hilarious. This is the real one, apparently.
What?
It's called the pale blue dot.
Who took that?
I've taken better pictures whenever my phone is in my pocket accidentally, bro. That's what this looks like.
Why do all these pictures look so fake?
If you go through Google, there's not a single one that looks even remotely real.
Don't we have pictures of other planets?
I don't think you're ready for that conversation, bro.
Saturn picture. Okay, that is the... This is made with a PS2.
You're really not ready for...
Why, I'm a dopey donut, and I don't know how much my globe curves per mile. But I do know one thing, and that's for sure, that the entire internet is wrong. I know everything, and all flat earthers are stupid because they be pulling up that earth curvature calculator, and I don't agree with none of them. You know, none of them 8 inches per mile squared is wrong, right? Because it's 69 miles every 1 degree. I'm not a smart man. I don't know much, but I know it ain't no 8 inches per mile squared. I know that right now. You know what I mean? So all you flat earthers that think you know how much the earth curves, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know how much it curves, but I know it ain't no 8 inches. These flat earthers don't know nothing.
Since it's getting to be that time of year where it's getting a little cooler, the leaves are starting to change, and air's getting a little drier, I figured maybe it's a good time to talk about seasons. We'll compare the heliocentric model to the flat earth model, see how much you guys know about each, and then we'll see which one makes the most sense. So here, in North America where I am, in our winter when it's colder, would you say that we're closer to the sun or further away? Well, if you said closer, Google says you're right, but you're also extremely indoctrinated. But you can see here that it says it isn't primarily Earth's distance from the sun, but its tilt on its axis. So let's look into that and really think about it. So I guess the best place to start with that is, what is the actual tilt? Well, it says 23.5 degrees, even though we all grew up knowing it as 23.4. And if you don't believe that, you can see it right here, that even in the image on this one, it says 23.4. Now, a lot of people make excuses as that, oh, they're rounding it. Well, if you look, it's actually 23.44, where if you rounded that, it would be to 23.4, not 23.5. The reason they do that is because the opposite of 23.4 is 66.6, and they don't want you to know that. But I digress from seasons. So if you believe that you're on this wobbly space ball and that angle is what changes the seasons and causes it to be different, so let's think about that. Last year, down here in South Florida, the hottest date was 98 degrees. The coldest date was 31 degrees. So you have to believe in the winter, when you're 3 million miles closer over here just because of the angle, that it's 31 degrees. But then in the summer, when you're all the way back over here 3 million miles further away because of your angle, now it's 98 degrees. Okay, well, let's run with that. If that's the truth, then I have one little question. What about sunrises? When the sun comes in, it's at 0 degrees. You can see it right here. So explain to me how every single morning isn't freezing cold like winter and every noon isn't burning hot like summer. Now, why don't we look at the flat earth model, where here at the north in our winter, the sun is on a wider path in the south, where, guess what? It's their summer. Who would have thought when the sun's closer, it would be hotter? Not only that, but anybody can look in the sky and tell, here in the north, in our winter, our sun is further south and lower in the sky. Now, a lot of people are going to say, if that's the case, the sun would have to be moving faster in our winter around the south. It's almost like you'd be able to see it, like in this analemma, where you can see that it moves slower and then faster. Almost as if it all makes sense, like a perfect clock, like a creator made it. All I'm saying is that before believing this, that your government has fed you your whole life, pay attention to the real world around you.
Is NASA really just Disney? NASA was founded in 1958. In 1955, Disney made this space documentary called Man in Space, where Walt Disney and Werner von Braun showed how pretty soon science was going to have the technology to take man to the moon. The only problem is that the technology at the time wasn't close to getting man off the Earth, much less all the way to the moon and back. And I mean, not even close. Meanwhile, NASA was making huge strides in the department of making it look like we could go to the moon, while NASA was blowing rockets up. I understand that's not evidence exactly, but this NASA-Disney thing just gets weirder. There's no way that Disney would have built the empire that he did without understanding branding. You know branding, where you put your logo on your work? In 2012, NASA's Messenger spacecraft went to the planet Mercury and found Mickey Mouse. And I'd probably let this Mickey Mouse thing go if it wasn't for what happened with Pluto. The NASA Pluto saga started in 1931 and ended in 2015. The planet Pluto was found at basically the same time that Walt Disney created the dog Pluto. And to this day, no one's sure which came first, Pluto the name of the dog or Pluto the name of the planet. One of them maybe begat the other, and Pluto is also named after the god of the underworld. According to NASA, in 1977, they shot the Voyager spacecraft across the solar system. Almost 40 years later, the 3 billion mile journey to Pluto produced the first images ever seen of the planet Pluto. Not planet Pluto, and guess who was already there? So for those keeping score at home, Mickey's on Mercury, and Pluto is on Pluto. Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
I don't know anything about this subject, so I'm just going to ask my audience. Can you tell me why there are no real, unedited, raw photographs or videos of Earth from space? And there are no photos or videos of any of the other planets that are unedited or raw photographs. Also, there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of satellites rotating around our globe, but we cannot detect any of them on any of the spacewalks ever presented to us in the history of spacewalks. Now, can you tell me why that this is possible if there are thousands and thousands of satellites rotating around space, looking like they're all about to crash into each other? This doesn't even seem like it's a logistical thing to do. But of course, I'm being just a conspiracy theorist, and I'm just asking questions. Like, of course rockets are real, of course they actually go into space, even though all of the photos of rockets aren't actual photographs of rockets, they're pictures. Discern the difference between a picture and a photograph, because all of these are animations and pictures. But of course satellites and rockets are real. It's just that there's not a single photograph or image of Earth from space that's unedited. Entertainment purposes.
In 1797, Henry Cavendish, the British scientist, Freemason, and wealthy grandson of the Duke of Devonshire, created an experiment which he claimed successfully proved the existence of gravity, measured its constant, and provided accurate figures for the exact masses of the Earth, Sun, Moon, and planets. How did Cavendish achieve this quantum leap for heliocentric pseudoscience? He fixed 2 large lead balls on opposite ends of a torsion balance and hung them from the roof of his shed. By watching and recording slight motions of the contraption via telescope through his shed window so his mass would not affect the reading, Cavendish claimed to have proven gravity. 2 small lead balls were hung near the large ones, and any motion observed towards one another was touted as being the influence of gravity. Now, the Cavendish experiment has been widely criticized by the scientific community because never in over 2 centuries since its creation has anyone been able to replicate it. Firstly, the balls simply do not always attract one another, as they must, for the so-called gravitational constant to be constant at all. Sometimes the torsion balance turns towards the balls, and sometimes away, as it is impossible not to give some slight tremulous motion when interacting with it. Henry even complained in his notes how often as he was performing the measurement, the contraption was still in oscillation. Secondly, since his calculated force of gravity was 10 to the 39th power weaker than the force of electromagnetism, from which all material objects are composed, there is no control for the experiment, which can factor out and positively differentiate the alleged gravitational force from the known, stronger electromagnetic force. In other words, the balls could simply be attracting each other through static electricity, a known force existing in all things, billions of times stronger than gravity, and impossible to control for the experiment. Even though no one could replicate Cavendish's findings, the experiment went down in history as a great success, and is still taught as veritable proof of universal gravitation in science textbooks today.
It came in the mail and y'all are opening it with me. Ooh. Smell it. Woo! Here we go.
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.